And to start off with, Florence, all eyes on Greece, because Evangelos Venizelos, as we were saying, is perhaps getting somewhere in his attempts to form a coalition. So how are the French papers reacting?
Well, we're going to start by looking at Le Parisien, which is quite pessimistic. They're looking at the worst case scenario. According to the newspaper, the political situation is pretty chaotic. There's no government, and they wonder, what if Greece leaves the Eurozone? It says that the specter of an exit is looming once again, and inside the paper explores what it calls a real risk and wonders what the consequences would be, not only for Greece, but for Europe in general, and especially France. Now, the paper points out that the banking system would be weakened. If Greece defaults, it's going to cost European citizens a lot of money. According to the article, it would cost each French citizen 700 euros. And also there's this risk of a domino effect and a contagion to the rest of Europe, starting with weaker economies such as Portugal and Spain. And according to the paper, it could very well be the end of the Eurozone as we know it.
Wow, quite a gloomy outlook there from Le Parisien. But the paper also points out that despite the crisis, Greek citizens are very pro-European.
That's right. It's an interesting article in the paper that says that a lot of Greek people see their future in Europe. And one man, for instance, points out that Europe is actually a Greek word. And there's an interesting statistics that say that though most Greeks are against the austerity measures that have been put in place by the IMF and the EU, 60%, but 85% say that they're attached to the common currency. There is, however, a minority that blames the euro for the poor state of the economy and wonders exactly what good it is to them. One woman interviewed, for instance, says how they're lending us money so that we can pay them back. What's the solidarity here? But the paper says that this is an exception, and they have a funny cartoon that shows this ambiguous situation where you see a Greek man, a homeless man, who says, "I accept euros, but I'll give you change in drachma." So it's kind of their ambiguous situation there.
Okay, we're going to move on to here in France now. A lot of papers, of course, focusing on the new man in the top job, François Hollande. Now, he's set to meet Chancellor Angela Merkel next week in Berlin.
Yes, and we're going to look at the right-leaning newspaper Le Figaro, which says that tension is rising between the German Chancellor and the President-elect ahead of their meeting on Tuesday. According to Le Figaro, Merkel ne veut rien céder à Hollande. Merkel will not give way to Hollande. Now, yesterday she was speaking in front of the Bundestag, and she said that Berlin refuses any policy that will try to stimulate growth through spending, through creating more deficit. She said that this would bring us back to the very beginning of the crisis. And according to Merkel, the way to stimulate growth isn't through spending, it's through structural reform and a disciplined budget. She said that there's no miracle solution to the crisis. The way forward is baby steps that will restore confidence, but it's going to take a long time. And according to Le Figaro, the right-leaning newspaper, by saying this, Merkel is calling Hollande to order. Hollande says that he wants to fight austerity, but it's unclear exactly how he's going to finance this. And according to the right-leaning newspaper, they're pitching Hollande against Merkel ahead of their meeting. They say that Germany is looking for a strong partner in Europe, but Merkel is afraid that she's going to be dragged into a vicious cycle by France's new socialist president. So it's important to remember that this is the right-leaning newspaper saying this about Hollande, who they're not a big fan of.
Indeed, they did support President Sarkozy quite a lot during his campaign. But let's move on to another big issue that's hitting the papers. Libération has gone for it in quite a big way with an unusual front cover there, reacting to US President Barack Obama's endorsement of gay marriage.
Absolutely. Ils ont dit oui. They said I do to gay marriage. And there you see François Hollande and Barack Obama with a rainbow flag, so the symbol of the gay community. Now, François Hollande, during his campaign, said that he would legalize gay marriage, and he says he's going to do this by 2013. Now, according to Libération, which is a left-leaning newspaper, this is a real turning point for France. It's the first time that a French president has been for gay marriage, and according to the paper, there's a real consensus within the Socialist Party. There's no opposition, and when supporters stormed Place de la Bastille on May 6th, there were all sorts of flags, but especially there was the gay flag. So, as I said, François Hollande is going to try to push this through Parliament in the spring of 2013, and that would be to legalize not only gay marriage, but also adoption right for gay people.
Wow, so really pushing things forward. Interesting that comes out, of course, at the same time as what President Obama said. Well, thanks very much indeed, France, for that look at today's newspapers here in France. Well, still to come here on Live from Paris.